Good morning, children. Today we will start the sixth chapter of our textbook Hornbill, the Browning version, written by Terence Rattigan. This is a one act play which describes the feelings of a 16-year-old boy, Taplow, towards his teachers. So let's read it out and find out what he thinks about his teachers. This is an excerpt from the Browning version. Excerpt is an extract. It is an extract taken from a play which was written by Robert Browning, and the name of that play was the Browning version. So, this is only an extract from that play. The scene is set in a school. Frank is young and Crocker Harris middle aged. Both are masters. Frank in this play is a science teacher, and he's for senior students, and he's not much interested in teaching. And Crocker Harris, he is a language teacher, he is middle aged, and he follows all the rules very strictly. Taplow is a boy of 16 who has come in to do extra work for Crocker Harris. But the latter has not yet arrived, and Frank finds Taplow waiting. So, in this scene, Taplow is a boy who is 16-year-old, and he has come to do some extra work which Mr. Crocker Harris has given him to do. And the later here means Mr. Crocker Harris, the language teacher. He has asked Taplow to come to him and he will give him some extra work. But the Mr. Crocker Harris has not reached there, and Frank was the science teacher who was a young teacher. He was also there, and he finds Taplow waiting for Crocker Harris, and then they start talking with each other. So what they talk about? Frank, do I know you? Taplow, no sir. Then Mr. Frank, the science teacher who was young and who teaches senior students, he asked Taplow if he knew him. Then Taplow replied, no sir. Then Frank, what's your name? Taplow, Taplow. Frank, Taplow, no, I don't. You are not a scientist, I gather. Then Mr. Frank asked him his name, and the boy replied that his name is Taplow. Then Frank said, yes, I don't know, because you are not a scientist, I understand. Means, yes, I gather or I remember that you are not a science student. Actually, Frank is a science teacher, and he knows only science students. Since Taplow was not reading science at that time, so Frank didn't know him. No, sir, I'm still in the lower fifth. I can't specialize until next term. That is to say, if I have got my remove, all right. Then Taplow said, yes, sir, exactly. You don't know me. I am because I am still in the lower fifth class. And until the next term, I will not specialize in that science. And if I get my remove here means result. If I will get my result or my promotion, you can say, today. Frank, don't you know if you got your remove? Then Frank asked him, you don't know about your result? No, sir. Mr. Crocker Harris doesn't tell us the results like the other masters. Then Taplow replied that, sir, no, till now, Mr. Crocker Harris has not told us our results like other teachers do. The other teachers, they generally give the results as soon as the exams are over and the checking is complete. But Mr. Crocker Harris, he was a very, he always follows the rules. And according to the school rule, the results will be declared by the headmaster only. But the other teachers, they just tell the students the result. But Mr. Crocker Harris has not told the result yet. Now the next page, children. Frank, why not? Taplow, well, you know that what he's like, sir. Then Frank asked him why he has not given you the results. Then Taplow said, sir, you know him how he is like. Frank, I believe there is a rule that form results should only be announced by the headmaster on the last day of term. Then Frank said, yes, I remember that there is a rule that the form means the class results, they are announced or they are declared only by the headmaster and on the last day of the term. Yes, But who else pays attention to it except Mr. Crocker Harris? Then Taplow said, yes, sir, this is the rule, but the other teachers, they don't bother about it. Only Mr. Crocker Harris follows this rule, and he never tells us the result. I don't, I admit, but that's not criteria. So you have got to wait until tomorrow to know your fate, have you? Then Frank said, yeah, I know that I also don't follow this rule. I admit this. I accept this. But this is not a standard of judgment. Criteria is a standard of judgment. And then he said that it means that you have to wait till tomorrow for your result, for your fate. It means that tomorrow, the coming day, was their last day uh, of their term, and only according to the rule, only on the last day the results are to be declared. So Taplow had to wait for the next day to know about his result. Yes, sir. Supposing the answer is favorable, what then? Then Frank asked him, suppose if you get very good marks, means answer is favorable, means if you score very good, then what you will do? Oh, science, sir, of course. Then Taplow replied that, of course, sir, I'll go for science. I want to learn science. Sadly, yes, we all we get all the slackers. Then when Frank heard this that he wanted to learn science, he became sad, and in a very sad mood he said, yes, I know all the slackers. Slackers are the shirkers, or you can say the idlers, kamchor, a person who avoids work or effort. So Frank said, yes, I know all the students. Then he said, generally all the students who are not interested in hard work, they all take science. Taplow protestingly, I am extremely interested in science, sir. Then Taplow said, no, sir, it's not like that. I am very much interested in learning science. Are you? I am not. Not at least in the science I have to teach. Then Frank said, really? Are you interested in science? But I am not. I am not at least a single bit. I am interested in science which I have to teach in the school. Taplow. Well, anyway, sir, it is a good deal more exciting than this mark, indicating his book. Then Taplow said, sir, anyways, but it is a very good deal and it is very much exciting. Then he was carrying a book with him, and he pointed towards that book and said, then it is much more exciting to learn science than this mark. Mark is dirt or rubbish, or you can say a useless thing. What is this muck? Then Frank asked him, what is this muck? What are you saying about what you are saying? Aeschylus, sir, the Agamemnon. It's a play, a Greek tragedy it is, which is written by the Greek dramatist Frank. And you considered view is that the Agamemnon is muck? Then Frank said, what do you think? You consider Agamemnon as a dirt, a rubbish? Well, no, sir, I don't think the play is muck. Exactly, I suppose. In a way, it's rather a good plot, really, a wife murdering her husband and all that. I only meant the way it's taught to us. Just a lot of Greek words strung together in 50 lines. If you get them wrong, then Taplow said, no, sir, actually, the play is not a useless thing. It's not unworthy. Rather, the play is very good. It has a very good idea, good story it has, in which a wife murders her husband. But the only thing is the way it is taught to us. That is not interesting. And because of that, we all feel that the play is a bore. And because it has a lot of Greek words which are strung, means which are joined or which are threaded together. And suppose if we read them wrong, we have to go for them 50 lines. 50 lines here means for 50 times uh, we have to learn those, or we have to write those words again and again. You sound a little bitter, Taplow. Then Frank said, it seems as if you have not a good opinion about the book. I am rather, sir. Then Taplow said, yes, sir, you are true. Captain, Captain E. Then Frank said, okay, Captain means made to overstay for some reason. Captain. Captain means made to overstay for some reason. Tableau. No, sir. Extra work. Extra work on the last day of school? Then Frank asked him, okay, that's why you are made to stay here. Then Tableau said, no, sir. I am here for the extra work. Then Frank asked him, extra work? And that is on the last day of the school? Next page, children. Tableau. Yes, sir. And I might be playing golf. You would think he would have enough to do anyway himself, considering he is leaving tomorrow for good. But oh no, I missed a day last week when I was ill. So here I am, and look at the weather, sir. Then Tableau said, sir, yes, sir, I've come here for extra work, but if I would not be here, I would be playing golf because it's a very good weather also, and you would think that he would have enough to do himself. But you know, sir, he's leaving tomorrow for good. Means the teacher, Mr. Croker Harris, he was leaving the school permanently the next day. And then he said that actually, sir, I missed one day in the last week. I missed his class, and when I was ill. So here I am to do the pending work of that day, which I missed because of my illness. And see, the weather is also very good, means the weather is very perfect for playing golf. Frank, bad luck. Still, there is one comfort. You're pretty well certain to get your remove tomorrow for being a good day in taking for sorry for being a good boy in taking extra work. Then Frank said, oh, it's so bad that you have to come here for extra work and you can't play. But he said, but there is one good thing, that tomorrow certainly you will get your remove means your result. Tomorrow certainly you will get your result for at least for a good boy in taking extra work. Because generally students, they don't do such things that if they miss their class they never come again to do that extra work or that pending work. But Taplo was not such a boy. He had come to do that extra work. So for that reason, of course, he will definitely get a good result. Taplo, well, I'm not so sure, sir. That would be true of the ordinary masters. All right, they just wouldn't dare not to give a chap a remove after his taking extra work. But those sort of rules don't apply to the Croc, Mr. Crocker Harris. I asked him yesterday outright he would if he had given me a remove, and do you know what he said, sir? Then Taplow said, sir, actually I'm not sure about Mr. Crocker Harris. Actually, this thing is true for other teachers, but they and the then he said, sir, these types of rules they may be true for other teachers, but and the other teachers they don't dare not to give a person, a student, a promotion after taking extra work. But Mr. Crocker Harris, such type of rules they don't apply to him. Yesterday I asked him very straight away that if he had given me a promotion, and then do you know what he said? No, what? Taplow, imitating a very gentle, rather throaty voice. Then he tried to copy Mr. Crocker, and in a very heavy voice, he starts saying, my dear Taplow, I have given you exactly what you deserve, no less and certainly no more. Do you know, sir? I think he may have marked me down rather than up for taking extra work. I mean, the man is hardly human. He breaks off quickly. Sorry, sir. Have I gone too far? Then Taplow imitated Mr. Crocker Harris, and he said that he had given him exactly what he deserved, no less, no more. And then he said, sir, do you know that what I think is he must have marked me down only rather than up for doing extra work. I mean, this man is not very much kind hearted. Then he felt sorry, and then said, sir, have I gone too far? Means if I have said too much about him. Suddenly he realized that he is that it is all not good for saying something about his teacher to another teacher. He realized that and he felt sorry. Frank, yes, much too far. Then Frank said, yes, of course, you have said so much about your teacher. Sorry, sir, I got carried away. Got carried away means he said, sir, actually, I'm very sorry. In my excitement, actually, I moved beyond or I crossed the limits. I got carried away means I just crossed the limits. Evidently, he picks up a newspaper and opens it. Then he said, yes, clearly, you have done this. Then he picks up a paper and he starts reading the newspaper. Yes, sir. What was that Crocker Harry said to you? Just repeat it, would you? Then Frank again asked him that what did Mr. Crocker Harry said to you? Can you repeat it once again? Taplow, imitating again. My dear Taplow, I have given you exactly what you deserve, no less and certainly no more. Then again, Taplow tried to copy Mr. Crocker Harry's voice, and in the same way, he said that, my dear Taplow, I have given you what he deserved, neither I have given you less, no more. Frank, looking severe, means looking very harshly or in a very strict way, in a very cruel way, not in the least like him. Read your nice Aeschylus and be quiet. Then he said, not like him, but he said, you just read your book and be quiet. Taplow with dislike Aeschylus. Tableau then actually he didn't like reading that book. He, in a disliking way, he said, Aeschylus. He didn't want to read that book actually. Look, what time did Mr. Crocker Harris tell you to be here? 6:30, sir. Then Frank asked him, at what time did Mr. Crocker Harris asked him to come there? Then Tableau replied, at 6:30, sir. Well, he's 10 minutes late. Why don't you cut? You could still play golf before lockup. Then Frank said, oh, it's already 6:40. He's already 10 minutes late. You can do one thing. Why don't you cut? Cut means bunk the class. Why don't you run away? You could still play golf before lockup. Lockup means before the closure of the school. Before the school is closed, still you can go and you can play golf. Really shocked. Oh no, I couldn't cut. Cut the crock, Mr. Crocker Harris. I shouldn't think it has ever been done in the whole time he has been here. God knows what would happen if I did. He would probably follow me home or something. Then Taplow was very much shocked when Frank asked him to bunk the class or to run away. He said, no, no, sir, I couldn't. I can't do this. To cut Mr. Crocker Harris, I even can't imagine doing this. And I have not done this up to now, means I have been studying here for such a long time, and I don't dare to do such a thing to bunk Mr. Crocker Harris' class. God knows what he will do because he was a very strict teacher. So not no child dare to bunk his class. So he said that if I did that, God knows what he will do. He can even come to my home, he following me or something like that. So he was very much afraid of the teacher. Frank, I must admit, I envy him the effect he seems to have on you boys in the form. You all seem scared to death of him. What does he do? Beat you all or something? Then Frank said, I must really say that I am jealous of him because I don't know what he does to you, what effect he has on all the boys of the class, but you all looked so scared. Means all the students or all the boys of are very much afraid of Mr. Crocker Harris. So Frank felt a little bit jealous about this thing, and then he asked him what he does to you. Does he beat you? Or what he does? Good Lord, no, he's not a sadist like one or two of the others. He said, no, no, sir, it's not like that. He's not a sadist means sadist is a person who takes pleasure from others pain, means जो दूसरों को दुखी करके जिन्हें खुशी मिलती है, that is a sadist. So he said, no, no, sir, he's not a sadist, he's not like that. Rather, One or two other teachers of the school are like that. Frank, I beg your pardon. A sadist? Sir, is someone who gets pleasure out of giving pain. Then Frank said, I'm sorry. I beg your pardon. Excuse me. About whom you are saying all this? Then Taplow said, Sir, a sadist. You know, sadist is a person who gets pleasure in giving pain to others. Frank, indeed. But I think you went on to say that some other masters. Then Frank said, Of course, I know who a sadist is. But you were saying that some other masters are sadist. Taplow, well, of course, they are, sir. I won't mention names, but you know them as well as I do. Of course, I know most masters think we boys don't understand a thing, but, sir, you're different. You're young, well, comparatively, anyway, and you're sincere. Sorry, you're science. You must know what sadism is. Then Taplow said, Sir, of course, there are certain teachers. I will not tell you the names, but you also know who those teachers are, who always try to give or who always try to torture the students. But uh, and then he said that I know, sir, generally all the masters, what they think about boys, that we don't understand anything. But sir, you are different because you are a science teacher, and of course, you know, you understand what sadism is. After a pause, good Lord, what are our schools coming to? Then Frank, for he stopped for some time, and then he said, Oh God, what are our schools coming to? Means हमारे schools में what is going on, what the students are thinking about the teachers. Anyway, the croc is not a sadist. That's what I am saying. He wouldn't be so frightening if he were, because at least it would show he had some feelings. But he hasn't. He's all shriveled up inside like a nut, and he seems to hate people to like him. It's funny that I don't know any other master who doesn't like being liked. Then Taplow said, Anyway, sir, the Croc means Mr. Crocker Harris is not a sadist, means he is not a teacher. Then Taplow said about Mr. Harris that generally what he has seen is in the school the teachers love the students who like them, but he is the only teacher who seems to hate people who like him. Actually the thing is, uh, he never shows his feelings towards the students. If he had shown his feelings towards them, he would not have been so frightening also. Means the students will not be afraid of him. And and it is so because he never shows his feelings to the students. That's why the children were always afraid of him. And that is very funny about thing, because generally the other teachers or in the whole school, Taplow didn't know any teacher who doesn't like being liked, or who doesn't like the doesn't like the students showing their love and respect towards the teacher. But Mr. Crocker Harris was different from all of them. That's all, children. Have a good day.